Alright, sorry about that. Okay, back again to my explanation. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Good morning to all. So this morning I didn't get to set the ULEarn week 10. Okay, I was kind of about this week because we started masterclass full day for 2 days, Monday and Wednesday. And then for you guys, I didn't get to update. But anyway, for this morning is that I'm going to actually explain a bit about the assignment. Okay, before we go to the briefing for the assignment, okay, I just want you guys to go into ULearn right now. Click on assessment. Okay, click on assessment. Click that. Okay, so you see that there's an attendance here. So click on that attendance. So this is so you have the attendance. Okay, in your screen you will see that you have the 24th December. Okay, so click that submit attendance. Okay, as usual, present, then save changes. Okay, can you do it now? I give you about roughly 2 minutes to do that. Click on attendance. Okay, let me see. Okay, for attendance this morning, 24. So, okay, mostly dah masuk Aiman mana? Aizat, Gogul, Haziq Imran, Muhammad Omar, Muhammad Aiman, Muhammad Aizat, not yet, Muhammad Amirul Hakim, Muhammad Irsyad, Muhammad Syamil, Nawal Arifah, okay, Kamarul Zaman, Teng Zumun, Wong Ging Eng, right? So please fill in attendance. Are you done? You're done, Okay, so if you're done, then right now let's go to the assignment. Okay, who have download the assignment and look through the documents? Okay, please write that in the chat. I have no, write that in the chat. What is your case study number? Okay, in the chat, write your case study number for the assignment. Okay, please do it now. Because if you only go through the assignment, then you know which case study number actually that you need to answer. Okay, if you haven't gone through the assignment yet, means that you are having a problem right now, because the deadline is on 15 January. Okay, how many weeks are there? You have roughly about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Okay. Right, so okay, most of you have already gone through your assignment. Okay, good, very good. CS Dalini. What is that? CS star 8 ke? CS 8. Okay. Okay, so okay, I just go through the briefing one by one, so that nobody is left behind. Okay. So for the individual assignment, okay, submission date is 15 January. So my instruction is very clear lah. Okay, read carefully the instruction for the individual assignment. Okay, which is case study 1, which is document number 1 here, 01. Report can be either typed using Word or handwritten. Okay, meaning that if you were to use Word, then follow the instruction given in the instruction. Okay, I have given there what is the font type, size, and so on. Okay, report. Okay, all report either you hit handwritten or you either type it using words. Okay, you need to verify using Turnitin similitude report. Okay, only report which is below 30% similitude will give a marks. More than 30% is considered plagiarism. So plagiarism is actually copying directly without any editing. Okay, you copy from books, you copy from reference, you copy from thesis, you copy from your friends. So means that 0 mark lah. Okay, this is normal. Okay, and FYI for your information. Okay, turning in is always done for all report. For example, lab report. Okay, IDP report, integrated design report. In third year, second sem, you're going to have to do the IDP. Okay, and even for report FYP report, final year project report, must be less than 30%. So right now is that actually what I'm doing is to teach you guys how to actually use the Turnitin. Okay, so let me just look at who actually have joined the Turnitin. So this is my login. Because so I have actually upload. Okay, if you see my screen here, you can see that I have opened a class. So FIP report checking for postgraduate, and then for you guys for BEKM assignment. So let's see who actually have enrolled. Okay. Students, oh, nobody enrolled. Nobody enrolled, guys. Anyone try to enroll? No, not yet. Oh, okay, that's a problem. Means that you're going to do it last minute. Okay, so what you have in the ULAN is that you have one. Okay, this morning I updated 2 more files for the briefing this morning. So the one that I have uploaded previously was the case study, okay, the rubric. So means that this is a tips. Rubric is there for a reason. Why? If you see the rubric is that you know the indication of getting the full mark. Okay, so if you achieve that, you will get full mark. If you do not write out the report according to the rubric, then you will get lesser mark. So rubric is there for a reason. So if student yang good student, excellent student, they know that rubric is there to make you get full mark. Okay, but for those who didn't care less about the rubric, then do not expect to get full mark. Okay, so now I give a tip. Tip is always look at the rubric. Okay, it doesn't matter if for IDP or even for FIP. Always look at the rubric to see what will be evaluated. Okay, what the report, what will be evaluated in context. Okay, and then you have the assignment student allocation. Okay, case study list. And then assignment reference. So I'm going to go one by one, and then you have the submission assignment deadline is by 15 January, right? So let's look at the case study here. Yeah, I believe that you guys have gone through this one, so it's very direct. So means that the assignment will actually referring to the LO3 and 4, which is analyze selection integration of material components and identify and analyze problem in basic interconnect. So you're given a problem, so this is where it will be mapped to LO3 and 4. So there are 7 stages, so you can go through here. Okay, 7 stages, very direct. If you want to know more about these 7 stages, I believe by now most of you know that because since we have the COVID pandemic, so you are able to actually access the internet more. Means during class, you're able to, if you don't understand something, you can actually search it online, right? Search it using Google, and then, for example, you don't understand what is the preferential or specification in current design. So just Google it, and you will get more information. Okay. So I believe that students should be able by now to actually um, learn how to use the internet effectively. Okay. So I saw that, boleh dengar tak tahulah sebab macam tak ada respon hopefully everybody is listening. So I believe that you guys are familiar using internet before this. Means that most of you lah, guys, what they do, play game, play game. Ada banyak handphone main game online. Okay. But having said that, as a student, you need to be able to use effectively the internet. Okay, means that you have YouTube. Okay, for you guys, I think I'm sure you guys Gen Z, okay, you look at video YouTube. For the girls lah, I believe lots of you guys are into makeup, makeup ke whatever lah. Okay, exercise for guys, exercising ke, Zumba ke, whatever kan. So Tabata ke, so you guys will refer to YouTube to get information, kan? Get more information. So similarly, when you study for your subject, okay, if you don't understand something about the class, then refer to find information, because lots of information are shared in YouTube. Lots of lecturer overseas, they are making YouTube tutorial on specific topic. Okay, so I think compared to my time last time, you don't have this YouTube. I do. Internet last time was dial up, connection loss, and then very hard. And that time I'm using 310, Nokia 310. You know that one, Nokia boleh baling dinding pun dinding pecah. Okay, so mana ada kamera semua ni? So the reference that we need to refer is at the library, books saja kita boleh refer. Tak ada, tak boleh nak scan ambil gambar ni. No, we need to go to the library to get more reference. Okay, so memang a bit tougher lah. Means that then you in the end you be more robust. Now, right now, information is at the tip of the fingertip. Okay, type je. Jangan type jadi keyboard warrior pula. But type the information that you want to find out. Okay, so I believe that stage 1 to 7, please go through. Don't understand? Find the information. Discuss with your friend. Boleh juga, no problem. This is assignment kan? Okay, but of course jangan copy paste from your friends when you have the same case study. If copy paste, then both 0 marks. Okay, instruction. Okay, students are required to answer the selected case study by referring to individual assignment location list. So ada location list is document number 3. So you are required, okay, this is what I said, you're only left with 3 weeks. You are required to spend approximately 5 to 10 hours to complete the assignment. Okay, so 5 to 10 hours. But sebenarnya kalau if I were to tell you that I think you can finish this by 1 day, if you do it on weekend. For example, you do it on Saturday, the full day, because full day, if you start from 8 to 6, it's already 10 hours. Okay, 8 to 6. On Sunday, focus on it, do the assignment. Then you complete your assignment. But if you do not focus, okay, you just look like to read it 10 minutes, and then you left it. Okay, or the deadline is 3 more weeks. So you don't really care about it. You don't really concerned about it, because you see that, oh, much time left. Okay? But do not do that. Plan your assignment. Okay? So 5 hours, it means that for very good student, they already know about the problem, then we can directly derive everything. Okay? So the maximum that student should actually spend is 10 hours. So the task is, you are engineer, XXY company, blah, 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 and you need to solve the following problem in case study 1 to 15. Based on the 7 stages of mechatronic system design, students are required to, okay, the first question is analyze the problem by doing the following. Okay? First one is identify at least 5 functions required to execute the process. Okay? Then, student identify the flow of energy, material and signal going into and out from each function. Okay? And next, for each function, describe how the function and flow relate to the problem. You write your answer in the table such as the following example. So you are given an example of table. So directly put into a table. Of course, you see, the question here is that at least 5 is that minimum 5. If you find out that there are more than 5 functions, then you can write in. Because the more, it is the more, maybe you get chances to get full mark is much more. Okay, so this is where we want to see the creativity of the students. Okay, it shouldn't be answer between students for the same case study shouldn't be the same. Okay, because this is where students need to think. Okay? And second question there is, they organize a structure that relate at all identified function, means that in this question 1 and flow of energy measured into a complete process. Write your answer in a form of functional block diagram. Okay? The design must include measurement system, actuation system, which is either, like, if you think that the problem require you only to have electrical actuator plus mechanism, then just leave it using that only. But if you think that you need to have both electrical and pneumatic, so in your actuator system, you need to include 2 types of actuator system. So it depends on how you actually go by the problem, because different problems have several solutions. So solution should be same by student, by different student. And then number 3 is control system. This is optional. Reason why optional is that this is all depending on the question given in the case study. Because some case study doesn't ask you to do the closed loop. Okay? So you need to read carefully. If you think that it needs to have a controller, then add the controller. And the third one is that analyze the selection of suitable mechanical component to perform each function. Okay, so means that after you select the function up here, okay, actually question 2 and 3 is related. For example, for function of detecting temperature, for example, detecting temperature, you have a few options of sensors. Okay, for example, what the thermocouple, what else, so on. So option 1, option 2, option 3. So in the end, you need to justify that which option is the best, option 1, 2, or 3. Okay? Because reason why, based on this selection, is that you're going to answer the next stage here, which is question number 4. Okay? So question number 4 is sketch the concept of your design by integrating all the components. So after you have select what component for each function, then label it into a sketch, into a design, complete design. For example, if the system require you to have a conveyor, so you have a conveyor, you have a motor connected to it, then you have a belting system to connect the motor to the gearing. So everything needs to be drawn out and sketched out, and don't forget to label it. Some students, when they draw out the sketch, they left out without the label, no label inside. So you expect the lecturer to understand what is it. The lecturer is not a mind reader, so you need to label everything. And the fifth one is explain the working principle of the mechatronic system by referring to your sketch. So it means that based on number 4, based on your sketch, explain each of the process or the function, the working principle. So if you remember, working principle is actually LO2. Okay, so everything is all connected to each other. Okay, so these are the list of case study. Okay, so based on the case study, you are given a problem. So you need to come up with the solution. Okay, case study ada 15 total. And these are the instructions. Strictly follow it, if not, zero. Okay, why I tell that every time for my student, I will tell that strictly follow because sometimes students don't follow. Okay, or the tendency is to copy from your friends and so on. So please follow strictly because I've given you the detailed instruction. So the first one is that each student need to submit their own work using their registered username. Instead, submit using your own username because for some reason, okay, before this, there are students who submit their assignment with their friends login. I'm not sure why. You have your own login, but why you cannot submit on your own, okay? This is a big concern because later on, for final exam, you need to use your own login, You cannot submit on behalf of using your friend because later on, you will get 0 mark lah, okay? So, actually, what we do, what actually we, all the lecturer implement during assignment, quizzes, by using ULearn is that for students to practice, familiarize with ULearn because later on for final exam, you have already familiar with using the quizzes, using the question, you know, oh, okay, this one next, you need to click on next, you will go to the next question and so on. So when you are familiarized, then you won't actually panic during the final exam online. Okay? Second one is that submit your assignment through ULearn and rename your name as the serial number and first name. Okay, so for this one, okay, this one is the assignment individual. Okay, this one, So, okay, assignment for section 2, here. Okay, you see that your name, the metric, case study. So, save it as your first name and case study. So, first name is what? For example, my name. My name is Maria Ghazali. For first name is which one? Which is the first name? If my name is Maria Ghazali. Because I noticed that some students confused. Don't know what is the first name. What is the first name? Guys? Mariam. Betul. First name is Mariam. Okay? And Mat Ghazali is my surname. Surname means that family name lah. Okay, nama bapa ataupun family name. For Chinese, maybe their family name. Macam Wong Wei Jian. I think Wong is family name. Okay? So, your first name. Okay, first name apa? So, serial number tadi, CS berapa tadi? CS example, CS15, Asfa Atira. Contoh. Okay? CS15 dash Asfa Atira. So, I give you example. 01 Abu. Nama dia Abu bin Ali. Abu ni lah. Okay? And then third one is that file cover must include student information, matrix ID, blah blah. Okay, ni dah letak. Okay? Type your report using Word. Okay? If you plan to type, then use Word. Okay, only submit one word file, not several file, one word file je. Okay? If you were to actually write handwritten, then no problem, just submit one PDF saja because you handwritten, kan? Okay, I prefer handwritten sebenarnya because I will see the effort of student, Okay, because later on when you have final exam, you need to handwritten, you tak boleh submit in terms of word file. So it's better for you guys to practice from now, handwritten, Okay, and exact copy paste from sentence is plagiarism. Okay, and other student and with other student also will be given 0 marks. Okay, bear in mind that for those from the same case study, okay, I will actually check. Case study, siapa dapat case study 1, I will check. When I check, I will compare 3 in a row directly. You look at oh, sama mana kosong. It's like that. Okay, how I check. Even other lecturer is the same way. So please do not copy from your friend. You want to discuss, it's okay, but have your own idea. Okay. Okay, because we want to we want to actually evaluate student understanding. Okay, students sendiri, not by actually discussing with your friends, getting the same answer. And then the student must check. Okay, ni nombor 6 tadi lah yang I mention. Okay, because nobody actually entered the in yet. Okay, so don't do this last minute when you want to submit. Because reason why when you submit, suddenly it's more than 30%, you actually need to rewrite again what is actually similar. Okay, okay, so student must enroll themselves in the following class ID at the inside and upload assignment Word to general report. So if you're using Word. If you have PDF, you can also upload PDF, no problem. Okay, turn it in will generate it within 5 minutes, very fast, or 1 minute, very fast. Okay, this is class ID to enter. You should be able to enter. If you cannot enter, then you need to inform me. Okay, but right now, nobody actually informed me anything, so I assume that you can enter. Okay, but tak ada student, there's no student here. Okay, anyway, log in using any email, then enter the class using that ID. Okay, I will show you an example on types of plagiarism. Okay, this is the example after student submitted. They submit. Okay, I can actually look at each of the student. Okay, the student name. Okay, for example, the similarity index is 12%. Hijau, this is automatic by reading. Hijau means that it's good. It's less than 30% lah. If you see hijau, actually less than 20% is green. Less than between 20 to 30 will be yellow. Okay, for the case of like this, so I will look at 12 to 28 is still okay for undergraduate. But if you see here the rest, 33%, 38%, 42%, 55%, 72%. What does it mean is that most of the contents was plagiarized. Okay, so example, okay, if I click on this student, this one, Ibrahim Khalil is actually my FRP student right now. So he already checked the first draft. So that's good to check earlier. So right now the draft is 55%. So what he should do is that he should check which one is actually having the similarity. So if you see here, okay, student also can view on your own. Okay, so if you see here is that, for example, number two because it's from UTEM, so this one we can omit it. Okay, this one pun dia direct quiz, but you can see that, okay, for example, this one number 2, they highlight that, okay, it's actually from a source from UTEM maybe thesis, so it's exactly the same. I can see that this student actually copy the whole thing in, like example, this sentence. Okay, in the last few decades, engineers around the world. This is from a reference in reference that number 2. This one for e-print. So it means that that's not good. Okay, look next. Okay, this one maybe also for example, this sentence caused by stroke spinal cord. This one is all plagiarism. Copy directly, because if you make your own word, you actually wouldn't be the same. So what I suggest is that when you have like similarity like this, you need to paraphrase. Paraphrasing. So what is actually paraphrasing? Okay, paraphrasing. So I type in the chat. So Google that, what is paraphrasing, how to actually paraphrase again. So change the wording in a sentence, but it will have the same meaning. Okay, that's what it means. So I hope that student, please enroll earlier into ULearn, so that you won't have you won't actually do last minute work. Okay, because this turning in must be submitted, the report. So if you see here the report here, okay, Okay, this is the report. If you go to this underneath here, nampak tak underneath here? Do you see my my mouse? My mouse ni kan? So you gerak sini, ni mouse saya. So when you click that, it will say download. Okay, so you want to download. Okay, you download that, then that will be the report of the Turnitin. Okay, that you need to submit to ULearn. Right? So submit via the ULearn platform only. Okay, what student need to submit are three files, compulsory 3 files. Assignment report in PDF format means that please, if you will written it in Word, then convert it to PDF. Reason why convert to PDF, because sometimes when students submit, the Word file is different format from my computer, so when it opens, it actually formatting is all wrong. So I prefer that you submit in PDF so that it will be fixed according to your format. Okay, assignment rubric, the student fill in their detail. Okay, as mentioned, this one is always student forgot to fill in. They submit only rubric. If you submit only rubric, who's going to submit to fill in this form, this information? Okay, if I have 90 students, then a lot of things to fill in. So please fill in on your own, put in your case study number. Okay, just submit that. The marks will be 0. Okay, so if you see here for the rubric will actually reflect to the task given in the document number 1 just now. Okay, similar. Alright, so that will be for the explanation of the task. Okay, so the rubric just now I explained. So you for the student allocation pun I dah explain tadi. I think you already know your task. Okay, may I know how many students have started? Who have started your assignment? You start to actually go through the assignment. Please write there in the chat. I have started. Write there in the chat. Kalau if you didn't start, then just say not yet. Yang tak buat lagi tulis not yet. Tak ada, bukan nak marah. Just that I want to see who have started, who have actually initiated the assignment. Because this is why I do the briefing today. Okay, for today, for the continuation of the topic. Okay, the topic is that supposedly is electromechanical kan. But I plan to actually upload a video on that topic. So later on you will go through the synchronous video. Okay. So for today is I'm going to concentrate on briefing for assignment so that you start your engine lah. At least go to gear 1. Okay. Not 0, not static yet. Okay. So I want you guys to go to gear number 1 right now. Okay. Because I believe that semua tak buat lagi. Okay. Betul. Semua tak buat lagi Not yet. Okay, siapa yang dah buat ni? I have started. Oh, Lau saja yang Lau started. Good, very good. But go through it. Okay, that's good. I don't mind YouTube. I also love to look to view videos in YouTube. Okay. Well, YouTube ni very informative, but you need to find the correct information. Okay. Janganlah pergi tengok. Penting you guys suka tengok bang ke apa kan. Macam tak suka lah tengok orang makan banyak-banyak kan, berlojong. Okay. But rather than that, be like an engineering student. Look at video of how is it made. You know, the television series, how it made. How does it work macam tu lah. Okay, under National Geographic. So lots of video that you can see. They do the production, they show you what type of actuator sensor. Of course, they are not going to explain detail, they are going to share the detail, but they explain explain it. So by explaining is that you get information. So this thing you need to go through. You cannot expect that I'm going to spoon feed. No, this is where you need to think clearly. Think of the solution as an engineer, because later on you will be an engineer. So now going to yang lain, not yet. Okay, not yet. Semua not yet lah kecuali now. Right? So, but don't worry. Right now is that I'm going to go brief you guys. Okay? Briefing for BEKM. So what you need to do? Okay? I have list out. Remember task in you learn. You go through that one. Leave for student, check what case study that you actually going to do. Is it case study number 1, case study number 2, okay? Case study number 15. So go through the case study. At least you know that you have a problem to solve right now. And from that problem, you find out, oh, this thing is like complicated. Then you need to start to go through, find the information. Google it, or find it YouTube, find similar example. Actually, the problem that I gave to you, all are example that all are problem that actually I derived it on my own. Some it's given by Dr. Fahmi, so I need to elaborate what is the problem and so on. So those are the things that students need to for assignment is this one, and then refer to rubric. Okay, this one is a must if you plan to get full marks. Okay, for the individual assignment, what is the marks? 15 marks, 15 marks is a lot. 15 marks, 15 marks actually will give you different 3 different grades. Okay, 3 different grades because each grade beza dia 5. 5. For example, this is full mark. If you only get 5 marks, then you, instead of getting A for your this subject, you will get what? B plus. Supposedly, if you get full mark, you can get A. Okay? So this is where it's very crucial, to refer to rubric. And lastly, don't forget to register and add yourself to the date because you need to submit the 30-minute report. Okay? So this is first task. So first task, okay, this one I will explain. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. Okay, of course the example is not the one in the case study. It's a different example. So okay, so the example case study is the problem given here. Okay, to design a real-time health monitoring system for patient implementation and tested at clinic BEKM2342. Okay, so means that the keyword is that to design a real-time health monitoring system for patient, okay, which will be implemented and tested at BEKM. So actually, this topic is actually this problem was given to my IDP group student last semester during the COVID, starting the COVID pandemic. Last semester, semester 2, 2019 and 20. So initially they already done everything. They have bought the census and everything. They have gone to clinic UTM to do a survey, talk with the doctors and so on. So end up because of the pandemic in March, so everybody went back home to their own homes. So that time they didn't get to actually complete the whole system. Okay? But they do only the simulation using Arduino. Okay? So this is a problem case study. Okay? So by having that one problem, okay, the student need to identify 5 different functions. Okay? So if you see here, is that you need to identify 5 functions and then identify the flow of energy, material, and signal going in and out from each function. Okay? And then for each function, describe how the function, okay, blah, 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 so on. Tadi dah explain. Okay, so you need to actually put it into a table. So we have table function 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have more, then do more. Okay? Then you have a function here, and then this description, and then you have a flow here. Okay? So before we can answer that, you need to understand first. what is this function and what is this flow. Okay, so for a systematic design, normally when you design something, because the question is, you as an engineer, you need to design a machine or solve the problem of the company. So you need to design a system. Okay, so what is a system? So how do you actually design it? You need to have a systematic way to design it. You cannot just simply, oh, okay, I'm going to use a temperature sensor, but what type of temperature sensor are you going to use? Okay, this one is what I have explained to you guys in the chapter 2, sensor and transducer, kan? Okay, how to actually select the best sensor based on accuracy and so on. So these are the things that has been covered in chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and everything. So how to actually, right now its assignment is to actually combine all the knowledge, okay, and put it into assignment, put it into words in your report. Okay, so systematic design is representing all technical system as transducer interacting with the world around them. So transducer is what? Transducer is, remember, it's actually sensor and transducer, kan? So you have a sensor and transducer. So what is the input of the sensor? What is the output of the sensor? Similarly, you have an actuator. So you have an input to the actuator, you have output from the actuator. So actuator is actually to convert electrical energy to a mechanical energy, which is rotation or linear. So this is what it means. So and the system here interact with user and use environment by exchanging flow of energy. We have flow of energy, okay. Material, okay, material. Later on, I will explain each of it, and signal with them. So three main things. Okay, interaction. When we talk about flow, so this is where you have the flow. Okay, and the technical system is modeled as a transducer. So normally technical system ni it comprises of the transducer. Okay, the actuator is also the system. Okay, so the main thing that I have explained, which is three main blocks. You have the measurement system, which is including transducer, kan? Then you have the actuation system, and the third one you have the composer. So everything is actually the technical system. Okay, but how does it interact? It interact by having the flow in between the system. Okay, so a function structure, okay, is a diagram produced by functional decomposition. So means that decomposition of the structure. So you know that for a system or conveyor system, it comprises of a motor, a venting system, theory system, okay, what else? So a sensor to detect the object and so on. So you have an idea of that. But how does each of these being connected? Which block is actually sub to another block? So this is where you need to list it out first. Okay. So for the function, we will talk about the function first. Okay, and then later what is type of flow. So type of function category that we have is, this is where we have the function classes and classes. Okay, and we have the basic function name. So what you want to refer is this one as the function. Okay, and this is the alternative wording for the basic function. Okay, so if you see here, okay, so let's say is that you want to convert something, okay, you want to position the robotic hand, okay, to 90 degree, for example. Okay, so you see here that position, this is the function, okay, positioning, or you can use other word is to align, to locate, to orientate. Okay, so this is a function that you need to use. So in the column function just now is position something. So position robotic to specific angle. Contoh. Okay, example. Another example that I can give you to is that to actuate. Okay, to actuate. To actuate the motor to start rotation. So you want to actually start the rotation. So you want to give a signal to the actuator. Okay, so to actuate it. What else? So you can go through this. Don't skip. Okay. When you go through this, you have an idea what to use for your function. So you can see separate. If you don't understand separate, then you can look at the alternative wording. So remove. So what does it mean? function maybe you want to do something like a molding, and after molding you need to drill it. So this is a function that you can use the wording to drill something. Okay, okay, and well, you can go through it. Okay, rotate, spin or turn, and so on. Go through. That's a function. And for the flow type is that you can use there are three main flow classes. So the first one is energy, material, and signal. Okay, for example is that if we have actuator, okay, which is you are using hydraulic actuator, okay, so hydraulic actuator. So what is the input here to the hydraulic? Guys, what's the input to hydraulic? What is the output? What is the input? What actuate the hydraulic actuator? Guys? Hello? Hello? Dengar tak ni? Hello guys, ada dengar tak ni? Reservoir? Kan? The simple one. I remember in the hydraulic and actuator, hydraulic and pneumatic topic, okay, for the input of the hydraulic and pneumatic is what? Okay. Tank, fluid, oil, airflow, force, pressure. Okay. Good. Ada yang jawab betul ni. Aizat Okay, Hamizan pun betul lah juga. Lau betul juga. Fluid, tank, okay betul. So, the input is what? Is pressurized liquid kan? Okay, so it's the input. So if you see here is that this pressurized input is under material class. Okay, material class. Right? So and output is what? Output is it also under flow class, or do you think that you need to take the function the positioning? Okay, so output may be the linear position. Kan? Okay, as a positioning, right? So from here is that you need to identify what is the input and output of each parts. Okay. So let's if for example for the just now the problem that I gave to you, okay, real-time health monitoring system. Okay, short form lah. I give to you the title is the real-time health monitoring system. So what you need to do is that example. This is example. Okay. So imagine that I'm a patient. So when you're given a problem statement, the problem statement is to design real time for patient. Means that the nurse at the station, front station, no need to actually go and take the BP of the patient, take the temperature, especially nowadays because we have pandemic. So the patient just do it on your own lah. Okay, masuk, just put their fingers and so on. So you need to think that way. So for that, you need to think from the starting initial state until finishing. Okay, the patient go to the clinic kesihatan. So what they do is that you already developed the machine. Okay, the machine is there. So maybe there's an instruction. First, press on the push button to start. So that's why you have the function press push button to start. Okay, and the flow or this description to support this function is that the human, the patient, transfer energy, his energy to push the button. Okay, because if you see here, you have also energy is from human, hydraulic, pneumatic. Okay, energy. This is all energy. So example here, if you see here is that hydraulic kan. So actually output here is the energy juga sebenarnya, energy and positioning. Okay, so and then the second one that I can think of is that the power supply need to be provided to provide energy to initiate the recording process. Okay, means that when starting the push button directly, the machine can automatically start recording the patient information, send it to the cloud. Okay, So these are the things that I can think of. So based on your problem, you need to think that way. Okay. Second one is that normally push button to start, if you don't have any indicator green, means that it's start, then you do not know if it's working, machine is starting to record and so on. So you need to have a LED on. Okay, signal from push button, turn LED on to initiate human to start process. So the next process lah. Okay, so the next process that they have here is that detect pulses. So pulse is to detect the beat. Okay, so the human put their finger to the station. Okay, and so the flow is human place finger on the pulse sensor. Okay, fourth one is that what else? In this case is that there are only two types of, because health monitoring system, the common things that the clinic will actually check is the pulse, the temperature, and the BP. That is the normal one. Additionally, if you go to klinik kesihatan, they will ask you to weight yourself kan. Dia cakap, okay, pergi naik atas penimbang tu kan, weight yourself and then take ukuran your height and so on. So, of course, you can add that into your function if you want. You add more function here, 8, 9 and so on. So, add more. Depends on you to actually come up with the system. Okay, there's no limit to what you need to solve. So, next is detect temperature. So, human place temperature, finger on temperature. Okay, this is example of if you use your finger to actually record the temperature. But you know that there are lots of way how to record temperature kan. Nowadays, because of the pandemic, yang kita guna something yang mostly at the shop, they have the stand there kan, and you need to go to clinic. Okay, you can use also that one, that time. Okay, so depends on you lah, how to actually explain the flow based on the function. Okay, next one is that LCD display data. So means that when each of the function 3 and 4 here is going to run, means that it will display the pulse. Means that you put there and then put, for example, put your finger for 1 minute. Normally 1 minute lah kan nak detect pulse kan, sebab your BP pun sama juga, 1 minute to detect pulse, then only dia keluar reading. Okay, so both need to actually display the reading. Okay, signal from pulse sensor and temperature sensor, it will be displayed. Number 6, data sent to cloud. So this data not only can be shown to the patient, but also sent to the cloud, so that the 7th one, the function will be next is doctor acquire data through cloud. So when the patient go into the room to see the doctor, then the doctor can actually look at the patient information beforehand. Okay, so then they just directly ask what's your problem and so on. So okay, no problem. Okay, so these are the function and flow energy. Okay, so task number 2. Organize a structure that relate all identified flow and energy material. Okay, write your answer in form of functional block diagram. Okay, the design must include. Okay, why I need to write this, because nanti there will be some student who didn't add it. Okay, so must include the measurement system, actuator system, and controller system. Okay, so the keyword is that relate all unfed function and flow of energy into a complete process, and it need to actually be written or be drawn in a form of functional block diagram. Okay, functional block diagram tu apa pula? Okay, the one that you have seen before. What in all of the slides since chapter 1, you have actuator system, right? And then what? You have the measurement system. Okay, and then what else? We have the controller, which is everything will be the control system. So this is what it means by function block diagram. Of course, when you talk about function block diagram for this part is that you need to elaborate more on the actuator system. It means that from here, okay, so actuator system comprised of what? Pneumatic. Okay, what is the signal to pneumatic? Okay, output, we have a signal conditioning. Okay, where's the LCD to actually display or the sensor? Okay, display or something. So this one need to be zoomed in more. Okay, So let's see an example. Okay. So not example yet. This one is explanation. So component or actuator connection are converted into function block. Okay. So this is where you're going to represent the mechanical component abstractly by labeling function block and its interacting flow line. Is that you know that you have a valve, you have an electric motor, you have a linear spring coil. Okay. So how do you connect each of these block? Okay. And then after that, you need to describe the entire device or system, okay, in general way. Okay. So let's look at example. This one shows the common or general actuator, okay, abstract into block function. You have the flow legend. So always put the flow legend, okay. So flow legend, you have energy. So it will differentiate. Okay, if you use solid line like this, it means energy. If you have dash line, it will be the material. If you have dotted line, it will be the signal. Okay, so if remember flow legend, refer to the previous slide that I showed you. Okay, so you have the function class just now, the function class in the beginning just now. So example, we take only 3 example. So you have control magnitude, convert, and provision. Okay, and the mechanical component which is representing to the functional class. Okay, for example, you have the actuator just now, or valve lah, for example, to increase or decrease flow. This information inside is the explanation of the function, just now. So this one is what? The flow, okay? Flow. So the flow is in terms of material for liquid. Okay, it's go to the valve, and then liquid will also go out from the valve. So you have the flow rate A to B. So different flow rate, lah. Okay, so valve will control the flow rate. Another example is electric motor. You want to convert it from electrical energy. So electrical energy is energy, lah. Then convert it into rotational energy. So rotational energy is also energy, still energy. Okay. And then you want to store energy. So linear coil spring is going to store energy. So we have a translational energy, means that linear energy. Linear. The spring will actually move linearly. So that one is actually a linear energy. So it's going to store energy. There's no output, but the output. Okay, so this one is general way. So example of the real-time monitoring system. Okay. So if you see here is that this block is actually come out from the deriving this function and description flow. Okay, function and flow and its description. So if you see here, we have the push button, LED on, detect pulse, detect temperature, LCD display, data sent to cloud. Okay, so okay, we will start as normal as a human. Like human, when you go to document, we will start from top left to right. We read that way. Macam ni, example, we read from left to right here, and then after reading that, we go down, right? So right now, we start with the diagram here is from this part, human energy, from left side. So remember that we have the push button, kan? Push button just now was the what? Function. Okay? Block ni adalah function. Right? And everything, the arrows here is actually the flow. Flow yang you explain in the table. So remember, human push on the push button. So you have the energy from human, and also you have the electrical energy, which is to start the push button. Means that if you don't have electrical energy, then macam mana pula nak start button, kan? Okay, so you need to have the power for supply. And then after that, to actually switch on the LED, now make sure it's going to green, so you can do, oh, okay, it's on now. So the push button will send a digital signal. So signal is the red color. Digital signal sent to the LED. Okay. So this LED will actually give on, and then what happens is that the human will place the finger on the pulse sensor and also temperature sensor. So here is that material lah. Material is the human lah, finger kan letak kat situ kan. So material. Okay. put on the sensor, okay, detect pulses, detect temperature, and this signal will go out and display on the LCD display here. Okay, right? So each will be displayed differently, but of course you can actually display it under one display again. It doesn't mean that you need to do like that. So you can actually use a mux and display it into one display like this. Okay, mux, mux. Okay? And then from this display, okay, you can actually send it to the data cloud. So there are a few options how to do this plot diagram. Okay, so this is on the second task. Okay, that task is that, okay, analyze the selection of suitable mechatronic component to perform each function. So just now you have actually identified the function, okay, functions, and then you have identified what is the flow for each function. Okay, so now what you need to do is that you need to list out what are the options for each function. So you have tadi ada function kan, ada function, for example, on the start the push button. Okay, so push button. Okay, so option, ada first option, second option, third option. So after you list out the option, then you need to explain why you, for example, option 1 is chosen because of what, and so on. Okay, so let's look at an example of the real-time monitoring system. Okay, so we have the first one is the push button to start. So option 1 will be a push button. Maybe you want to have a what else? So this one is your task. Okay, for student. Are there any way to actually the human can push other than using the type of sensor or indicator, push button? So list out what are different options other than push button. Okay, so do some research on it. Okay, detect pulses. So you use first option, pulse sensor. What else can you use? Okay, detect temperature. Okay, you want to use temperature sensor. So do you have any type of temperature sensor? Thermocouple maybe? Thermocouple? Okay. Okay, let's say that I give you example this one because this one is limited to sensor only. Let's say that you want to, the function is to convert linear to rotary. Okay. Option 1, you want to use what? For baling. Okay, what else? Slider and crank. Okay, so option 3 what? Okay, this one is where you need to be creative. Okay, why you need to convert linear to rotary? Maybe because you are using a linear actuator. So you want mostly linear actuator is on hydraulic and pneumatic because of its high power. Okay, means that high torque or high force. So you want to use linear actuator. So therefore you use linear for that. And because of that, you want to have a 4-bar link or slider and mechanism. Or what else? Okay, this one is covered in the previous topic. And then after that, you decide. Okay, why, for example, you say that you want to use slider and crank mechanism. Okay, or example, another one that you can use is drag and pinion. Kan? All of this is actually changing from linear to rotary. For me, I would prefer drag and pinion because it's more simple, have only 2 components. Slider and crank have a lot of components. You have the shaft, you have the linkages and so on. For baling, of course, you have linkages, so many linkages. So you need to explain why you choose drag and pinion due to what. Okay. Task number 4. Sketch the concept of your design by integrating all of the components. So based on the selection here, okay, based on the answer in this part, then you need to derive the example, okay, your design, okay, come up with the design, right? So this one is example, but of course this is for the monitoring system. But for your case is that if you need to have a conveyor, you need to have a rack and pinion, then you need to draw it out lah, where is the location and so on, okay? Be specific. The more specific you do it, the more marks you get it. For example, if you do like this, actually if you do something like this, listen my student here, marks is be lower lah, because you cannot see anything kan, you only see a box. But where is the sensor semua? Tak nampak dalam tu. Okay, if you have rack and pinion, for example lah, if you have a rack pinion inside here, then you need to draw the rack and pinion lah. Rack and pinion. So this pinion, it will connect it to a motor, linear motor. Okay, actuator here. It connected everything. So explain and label it. Okay? And fifth one is that explain the working principle of the mechanism. So basically for the sketch ni memang kena sketch lah. You cannot use word sketch using your hand. Number 5 is explain the working principle of the mechanism system by referring to your sketch 2. Yang ni tak ada example lah. Means that for each part from what you have done task 1, 2, 3, 4, actually everything is helping you to explain this task 5. Because if you see here, if you see previous task 1 is only put into a table. Task 2 is into a table. Task 3 also into a table. Okay? Only task 4 is sketch. And task 5 is you need to explain it in a sentence. Okay? Means that explain it systematically from start to the end. How each of the flow is connected to the function. So explain it. Okay. So that will be all for the briefing. Any question? Guys? Any question?
No, Doctor.
No? No Semua okay? Clear I think I dah clearly explained just now. So, like I said, what you need to do right now is first log. Please, I want all of you to take the time join the turning in class too, because I do not know if you can join or not, but if you have problem to join, then I need to change setting. So please join it, but it shouldn't be no problem. So join it. Later on, I will look at if there is already student inside. When you join it, please use your full name. Jangan you guna nama pendek-pendek. I tak kenal you. Okay, I tak kenal. So if possible, join it using your own name. Okay. And then I think that will be all. If you see the assignment, okay. The assignment is actually very crucial. Okay. What we plan for the assignment is that what we means that myself and Dr. Fahmi, what we plan is that so that student by the end of this subject, they already know how to actually design a correct system. Is that in general? Of course, you haven't gone through the microprocessor, how to do coding and so on, but at least you know what to use, actuator, mechanism, what type, and so on. Because this one will be very crucial later on for your IDP, integrated design project in third year, and also in your final year project. Okay, because what I see is that, especially the student FYP under me, some of them, the one that I teach them for introduction mechanics, they are aware of all the components, but some couldn't actually answer. For example, what's the use of how to actually convert linear to rotary? Okay, so what mechanism do you use? Cannot remember. Okay, so my comment for student is that after each semester, do not throw away your notes. Okay, please keep it, because you are going to need it when you are in fourth year. You need to open up everything: control book, signal system, or sensor and transducer, measurement system, the one that you later on, I think instrumentation and measurement subject. That one is all about sensors, more detail. So do not throw away your books. Keep it. Okay? And because this will be helpful later on for you to do your revision. Okay? So I think that's all. So for this week, I will upload the asynchronous class to continue for chapter electromechanical system. So I will try to update it by Sunday. So once I upload it to Lulen, I will inform in Grab. Okay. So any question? I open to question. If you have question.
Doctor, I cannot find the specific electronic system for my case study from the YouTube.
Of course, you cannot find it because the mechatronic system that I designed, there's nothing on YouTube. What you need to understand is the concept. Okay, you have a problem, then you need to find out how do you need to go about that problem. So you all the question is not, you cannot Google it directly. You can actually copy paste the question, put it in Google it, and you estimate that you will get the answer. No, the way we come up with the question, student cannot Google the answer. They need to come up with the solution. Example, the health monitoring system. If you Google it, there's nothing online. You have to have having that type of system. You need to understand the problem, and you need to suggest for what are the component required. Okay, why this is a concern is that in your final exam, for the question of subjective, you will be given a case study like this. Okay, for each question, for each student, different case study means that each student will not get same case study. So this is where assignment student need to put much effort on it. Okay, do not expect that you Google it, you can find it online. Okay, so okay, Lau tadi tanya soalan.
Yes.
Lau I tengok you punya case study just to get an idea because yang lain tak pernah tak tengok lagi kan. So Lau dah ada tengok, dia cakap. So I just show to student yang dah buat yang have gone through lah. Your case study. Okay, what is your case study number?
Number 10.
Betul. Okay, ni memanglah tak ada. This one memang tak ada. Okay, case study 10 is on mattress and pillow production. So I given you a title. Of course, if you cut and paste inside dia tak ada lah mattress and pillow production. Reason why there's no online because lots of company they have the production of mattress and pillow, but they're not going to share it because if they share it online, habislah semua orang copy and make their own company. Okay, on the production line, machinery and so on. So okay, the company. Your question is that the company produce foam-based product, for example, like pillow and mattresses. The problem occurred during glue process to combine two layers of different foam. So it means that you have two layers of foam that you want to combine it. Okay?
Yeah.
The two types of foam, thick layer, soft foam, and hard foam. So it means that one layer is thick, one layer is hard. Okay? Need to be glued together. So this is the first problem lah. Betul? First problem. Okay? The current method is by spraying the glue using pneumatic gun, air gun. Okay, they're using pneumatic air gun, maybe manually. Good. Okay, you assume that way lah. Okay, the problem is the compressor use. Okay, bukan manually. The compressor use cannot support the workload of the production. Okay, the current problem occur maybe to unstable air gun design and the content of the glue. Okay. Observation need to be made on the suitable of the glue container that is currently used. Need to design the system to get the best performance of production. So what I see is that there are two problems here. The problem one is that you need to actually glue together, okay, the form. Second one is that the problem with the air gun, okay, air gun. Okay,
but I never see the air gun before. How I want to redesign the system?
No, you do not need to redesign the system, not design the air gun. You design because right now they say that the compressor does not support the workload of the production. Means
because
that
of
the pressure is not suitable. So for pressure, if not suitable, what sensor do you need to use? It means that you need to use pressure sensor. you need to set at the air gun what pressure need to be set there, so that it will actually spray out the pressure at this constant value. Okay, so this is where means that the air gun must be attached or connected to a pressure sensor. So that pressure sensor, okay, because you want it to have a closed loop, then you need to have a closed loop. That means that pressure sensor, then the reference need to be set at a certain reference. Okay, so I think you can just the way I see that you can go by these questions, that find out the pneumatic air gun. Okay, pneumatic air gun for glue, for glue, spraying glue. Okay, that one is a keyword. Search it. What is the pressure being used there? Okay, means that your main is that thing on the air gun. Another one is that to combine the two layers. So that one is easy using pneumatic or hydraulic to actually push two of the material apart. So you need to have something like a system mechanism to push it. Okay, the matrix go in, then it's going to push, and then you have a conveyor bring it to the lab. So think of it that way. Okay, the system start with two layers of two layers of foam come in by conveyor, and then air gun is sprayed. Okay, and then there's a pneumatic or hydraulic actuator is going to push it, so that, but it push one, you need to have a certain pressure. You cannot push it very hard. Okay, push it together, and then after that it's going to move to the next section. Okay, and then it's going to be a full rotation. Alright, now boleh
Oh,
tengok.
okay. Thank you, Doctor.
So you understand that? Okay, so think of that way lah. Means that you're given a problem, but okay, imagine that. So that's why I tell students, you need to look at let me find, if I can find the video on, because you never see some video of how it made up. How oh, okay, can you see my video right now? So this is one example. For example, the problem given to you is that okay, the company required you to design a machine that can actually cut the the cookies into square form. Okay, so you need to think about, okay, cut into a square form. So you have a dough going into the conveyor, then conveyor need to flat it first, then it's going to stamp the cookie, and then next is the cookie going to go into the oven. Okay, so stop there. Okay, so for all of that, you need to have this type of system. Conveyor, the sound that you go to the conveyor, then what happens that it's going to actually make the conveyor, then next you see that you have a so try to find like you know lah, the key is that even if it is actress production, okay, So it's good to start your case study right now, because the first thing is that you need to understand your problem. Okay, you need to understand your problem. Okay, because different case study, different problem. Of course, you have different solution. One example that I explained just now or to now is one solution. Of course, you have different solution that you can use it. Okay, so try to imagine that. Okay, you need to understand first the problem dulu, baru you okay, what is the problem that you want. For example, yang tadi itulah have modular system. Okay, the statement is general. Have modular system for patient to actually do a self-checking first. So what are the self-checking that they need to do? So imagine you are the person going in, so you nak check temperature dulu, you nak check your BP. Okay, so think of go through the case study dulu. Okay, ni apa? Tadi ni blotter. Basically, we need to design specific machine. Only not only on the problem lah. Janganlah kalau macam tadi cookie cutter kan. The problem is on the cookie cutter saja. Tapi you bagi explain daripada start dough to combine all mixture, ada mixer, itu tak perlulah. You start from the how to cut the cookie. Okay, daripada dough to flatten. So next step apa? Okay, cut the cookie process until it move on to the next stage. That's all. But you of course you can explain it in your explanation yang tadi, yang task number 5 tadi kan. Okay, so tak perlulah sampai masuk oven cookie tu and then packaging no need. We just on the specific problem that is being asked. Okay, dari ni. Okay, anyone else? Alright, if nothing else, then make sure that you start your case study. Okay, reason why I'm really critical about this is because later on for final exam, we have similar case study. Okay, you are given a problem and you need to solve it, and you need to solve it between 3 hours. Okay, right now you are given 10 hours. Okay, but later in final exam, you are given 3 hours, including the objective question. So you better do your assignment this time around. Make sure that you understood what to do. Because if you do not understand what you want to you don't understand what to do, we have problem later on for final exam. Okay, alright, that's all. And you are lucky actually this time around final exam is open book because same student last year when they do the close type exam, we come here to the exam hall. Same, the case study is given juga. So student cannot actually refer to books, cannot refer to online reference. No, they go into the exam hall, they're given case study, directly jawab. Okay, so I believe that you'll be doing much better. Okay, of course the case study will be different for all students. Okay, so I think that's all. Thank you for listening. Anything, I will upload the notes for electrical actuator by Sunday lah. But anything, I will update later on in Telegram. Alright, that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And if for those who are celebrating Christmas, so happy Christmas. Okay. Bye.